for the next, say, 45 minutes or so, we're going to go over the next pillar for business with what I term, or what I feel is really designed to allow you to be able to move from where you're at to where you want to be. Now, when it comes to skill set, I like the part of the book of Proverbs, this scripture reference as well. It states about the fact that when somebody is really skilled with their work, okay, they will serve before kings, they will not serve before officials of low rank. What that means is this: the better your skill, all right, the better the more skill you have in whatever it is, the better the audience that you're going to be in front of to be able to help. All right, I'll give you guys a good example. The mentors that I learned from, their audience is, paying them and the type of person that, they're running 7, 8, 9-figure businesses. These are my mentors, right? And I'm in front of people that aren't necessarily that high because my skill set isn't where I want it to be just yet, right? So the best thing to do when it comes to, trying to work out who you want to be in front of, who you want to help, where you want to go with your life, what type of, business you want to build, or where you'd like to see yourself for the next 5 to 10 or 15 or 20 years of your life, is understand that your skill set plays a big role in who you're going to be in front of and the kind of problems that you're going to solve for people as well. Now, skills, they're what I term as the craft that creates the business. Okay, when you look at that, nobody that does anything relatively amazing with their life or with their business, none of those people are, they don't have much of a skill set. They haven't invested much in developing their skill set over time. This is why so many people in my industry start and stop, because they're not forward thinking, they're not growth minded, they're very fixed minded, and they don't understand that the investment in the skill set pays off later. And in a couple of slides to follow, there's going to be one little quote I'm going to give you that's going to really get you to understand the way I personally look at skill set and why I pour so much in terms of money into building better skills. All right, so when we look at skills are the currency of business. You don't get paid for your time. You get paid for your value. That's what I believe. Okay, most people will look at PTs and go, they're getting X amount of dollars per hour, and that's it. And the ones that charge a lot of money or more than the ones that charge less, all right, it's not a time thing. It's the same time, but it's a value thing. And it's how you communicate that value to the person. It's how you're able to get the person to understand that the pain that they're in, you're the one that's going to get them to that pleasure that they seek from the pain that they're in. All right, the more valuable your skill set, the more leverage you have in every room that you walk into. This is why I don't hesitate when I walk into any room around any people when it comes to talking about the stuff that I'm very good at. Because I've invested heavily in my skill set over the last 16 years of my career, so that I'm not trading hours, but I'm developing what's termed as an expertise. And my expertise is depending on who's in the room, it's all based on health. All right, and my expertise is very rarely based on anything other than getting somebody to become healthier, stronger, leaner, happier. Okay? When it comes to the two categories of skill that matter, you've got your domain skills, which is your specific knowledge in the industry. For example, myself, PT. Right, I've been a PT a lot of my life. I don't consider myself a PT anymore. That's just one aspect of who I am. Right, but for a long time, those domain skills was the area that I spent a lot of time in getting good at. Okay, same thing with you, Alex, Julian, and you guys will be different with the skills that you've spent time developing. Okay, when it comes to business skills, we have different aspects of that. We've got communication, we've got sales, we've got leadership, financial literacy, we've got systems, systems way of thinking. Okay, you need both. One just is more important than the other. They actually have to work together, right? And the beautiful thing about this is when you look at it from a business point of view, yes, as an entrepreneur, I need to have both, but who else can have communication skills within the business? The whole team, right? Who else can have a really good ability to have some kind of leadership quality to them?
Everyone.
The whole team.
Excuse me. Who else can be able to understand that the system's way of thinking, right, isn't just on the boss, so to speak. It's for everybody, right? And last but not least, when it comes to things like sales, I'm not the only one doing sales in the team. You are, and you are, and even to a point you are. So there's a real good, nice overlay and crossing over of the different skills in the whole business that everybody needs to have. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, when it comes to the competence builds confidence. I like this because most people think I don't have the confidence to do a certain thing. And it's not a confidence thing. It's you just haven't spent enough time developing the skills to be good at that thing. An example is speaking in public. Anybody can be able to do it as long as they practice for it, right? When it comes to selling a high ticket thing, I don't have the confidence to ask people to spend that much money with me. You don't have the confidence because you haven't practiced it yet. I don't have the confidence to do this sales training. You don't have the confidence because you haven't practiced it yet, right? Competence builds confidence, right? Remember, a confidence is just it's an opinion, it's an emotional thing. I'm not confident enough. I don't know if I can do it. You can if you build the skills and practice enough to show you that you can do it, right? The reason why people aren't confident is because they're not willing to put themselves in an uncomfortable situation to get better. So that because we're conditioned as humans to just sit in what's familiar, even if that familiar is painful for us, we'll sit in it because it's familiar. Versus going into what's unfamiliar and potentially scary or might cause us a bit of pain initially, we don't want to do that because that's going to expose us for the things that we don't have or the skills that we haven't developed over time because of whatever reason we want to put out there for ourselves to make ourselves feel better. Are you guys with me? So you've got to understand that you can build confidence in any area of your life as long as you build a competence first, okay? Now, most confidence problems are actually competence problems. When you know what you're doing at a deep level, your nerves disappear, right? Again, me, walk into a room full of strangers, because I know how good I am at what I do, and I know it at a deep level, I'm confident because I know what to talk about, and I know how well to talk about it, and I've practiced this, and it's familiar to me, right? If I walked in to a group of people that I never met before talking about a thing I've never done before, I wouldn't be confident because I haven't practiced it, because there's no competence there. You guys with me? So an easy way for you guys to feel confident in doing something, right, is to practice the skills necessary to get better at it. Simple as that. And it's such an easy way to deal with a confidence issue that somebody might have, or that you might have, or anybody watching on YouTube might have, okay? The answer to self-doubt is rarely a mindset shift. It's a skills investment. How good does that feel knowing that you can get from your pain here all the way to your pleasure, which is here, which could be confidence, by simply just working on your skills, as opposed to having to sit there and try to figure out a whole mindset drill that you got to do and work on the trauma of your past and all this other shit that just, in my opinion, is kind of irrelevant, right? Skills, you know the saying, skills pay the bills? It's literally it. You can build the skills to get you from being scared to confident. It is not somebody's fault that they didn't believe in you. It is not somebody's fault because they didn't give you money. It is not somebody's fault because they said something mean to you 5 years ago that has stayed with you. It is not that person's fault. It is your fault because you've dealt with your whatever and chosen to be here versus developing skills that can get you to be more confident in whatever it is you want to be confident in. If you want to start a business, okay, you don't know where to start, there's one spot that I recommend to start, and it's what I put on my videos on now, YouTube. It's a free resource that gives you all the skills possible to be able to do whatever you want to do. A free resource. It's not hard. How I'm getting better at doing my public speaking is by practicing and training myself through the things I'm learning on YouTube. That's it. And I use this as my practice because if I can get it wrong in front of a small crowd of people, it's okay. It means that I'll be better for the big crowds when they come. But the last one is the best leaders never stop being students. How many of you guys know how much study I do? You think you do, but you don't. I do more study than you guys actually think. All right? Every day, 3 hours a day is my study. Every day, 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's 21 hours a week of study. All right? And the studying is on different things, but I'm studying and I'm building and I'm studying and I'm building and I'm studying and I'm building. Why? Because for me, the more skills that I can build and develop, the more confident I can be in front of the people that I really want to be in front of, right? Which is the 7-8 figure business companies that look at me going, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, let's invest in what he's doing, right? But the ability for me to be able to have the life that I want, to build the life that I want, starts from the skills that I develop, which will build my confidence, because right now there's a competence issue, not a confidence issue, right? So if I don't spend time building my skill set, which for me is at 3 hours a day, broken up into 3 1-hour hits a day, I won't get to where I want to get to. That's how I do it. And then everything else that I've got to do in my day, I get done with the building of the businesses and whatnot, right? But it's got to start somewhere. And for me, it's blocking out 1 hour, using that time to study and upskill and learn and build my skill set. So when I do the next presentation, when I do the next talk, when I do the next sales pitch, I'm better and better and better at getting people to spend more and more and more with me. Does that make sense? This is how you do it. And so if you're scared to deal with somebody who throws an objection at you, it's not a mindset shift that you need to focus on, like I said before. It's not trying to understand how to, practice mindfulness, and it's not about that. It actually isn't about that, which in my opinion is actually so much better, because it means there's a black and white thing that you need to deal with when there's no emotion, and simply practice the skill of talking to people. Understand that somebody's opinion doesn't have to be yours or your reality, and look at their opinions as a reason for you to believe even more in what it is you're trying to do, right? And again, it's a skill. And if we look at the Bible, apply your heart to instruction and your ears to words of knowledge. I love the book of Proverbs because it gives me so many actionable things that make so much sense to me in my road to building wealth. So much sense. Like that to me speaks volumes to me about the fact that if I just apply my heart to the instruction, which is the thing I'm trying to learn or the thing I need to do, and I have my ears open to all the words of knowledge that are going to come my way, yeah? How much better am I going to be? If God's put it in the Bible and I follow, am I going to fail? No. Because what does God want for us?
To prosper.
To prosper. He's commanded us to prosper. He commanded us in the gospel reading last week, it was fear not. 3 times Jesus said it to his disciples. Fear not. Yeah? Fear not. And for me, it's like just apply my heart to the instruction, like which means go all in. Yeah? And then be open to what comes your way. Because that's the key. That's the key. Right? And if it's the human mind is here, our spiritual mind is here, don't they work so nicely together? So to me, it's a no-brainer. To me, it's like, let's just go. Let's do it. Let's do the thing. Let's learn the skills. And then let's implement them. Let's be confident, so competence, so we can build a confidence. You guys with me? All right, now skill set. So the core skills every business owner must develop. And not just business owner, just every person within a team, in my opinion, or any kind of leadership role within a business needs to develop. It's a need. It's not you can do it if you feel like it. It'll help you know. It's a must. It's a need. Number 1, sales and persuasion. Everything in business is a sale. When I present ideas to my team, okay, the value to my clients, when I have a vision to potential partners, if I can't communicate what I offer in a way that actually matters, or if I can't communicate why that matters, the person receiving it will never actually understand how good this thing actually is, or how great the opportunity or the potential of this thing that I'm presenting, or the great idea for our team to be able to implement for our clients. You guys won't actually be able to really understand how good it is if I don't know how to communicate it properly. You guys with me? Now, when we look at communication and storytelling, the leaders who win are the ones who make people feel something. So when I tell my story about my health journey, for example, the goal is to get the person reading or the person listening to feel something from that, to connect with that. Because then that takes them from, hey, he's been in the same pain as me, to he's been where I want to go, maybe I should listen a little bit more. There's a reason behind storytelling. And storytelling does that. It turns something inside somebody. It gets their attention, gets them to feel something, and then they start to build trust with you because they can connect and relate to you. Okay, it's not necessarily something that is designed or put together in a way that's designed to cheat the person or provide something that's far from the truth. It's simply telling a story about something that somebody can relate to and then taking them on that journey from pain, like I said before, to pleasure. And so the leaders who win are the ones who make people feel something. Data convinces minds. Okay, stories though, they change lives. I can give you all the data in the world about how great Zinzino is as a company. Right? I can give you all the data in the world. It might change your mind a little bit, but what's going to really change your life, okay, is the story that I tell about what it did for my health, what it did for my wife's health, my sister-in-law's health, my mother's health, my father's health, my brother's health, 60, 70 of the client's health. The story about those things change lives. Okay, and the changing of lives is what gets your attention. Yeah, my idea of changing somebody's life is what I do for them on the gym floor. And that's the story that I tell any new prospect that comes and sits opposite me. All right, John comes up to talk to me about his goals. I get a better idea as to his struggles and his pain points. Then I think of a client that's been going through the same thing as him that we've helped. So John, you remind me of this client that I've been training for the last couple of years. They were exactly like you. They did A, B, C, and D, and now they're feeling and looking and doing this kind of stuff. If you could be able to do that kind of stuff in the next 12 months, how would that sound to you? How would that feel? How would that make you feel? Oh, it made me feel great. Okay, cool. So this is the process that we're going to go down. I know the pain you're in. We deal with people with the same pain. These are the testimonies that we have. This is the example I'm telling you of. If a decision today to start, does it align with what's of value to you when it comes to your health? Yep. Great. Here we go. Let's go. If they say no, okay, so you're telling me that you making changes doesn't align to your health, and then you go down that road. Right? They'll never say no because you're putting them in a position to say yes, because you're asking a question that's an obvious yes. Okay? It's sales and persuasion. You're persuading them in a way that sounds right for them, so they're making the decision. You're not forcing them, you're not trying to sell them. They're coming to that decision themselves, but you're just guiding the conversation. That's how it works. And that's a skill that you build over time. It's not a talent, it's a skill that you build over time. Through what? Practice. What do I do that you guys hate? Role play. Constant role play. And the reason why it's constant role play is because you want to make sure that any objection you get, you've dealt with 1,000 times. So it's not different to you at all. Yeah? I had a call today before Anna booked her in for a consult. Right? And the last thing he said, look, can you give me a price guide? And I instantly thought to myself, thank God I've practiced this 1,000 times, because I was like, yep, fair question, totally understand why do you want to know about the investment, but the best thing to do is come and have a chat with me, because we'll go through that in our conversation. And when we go through that in our conversation, the way in which we tailor the package will determine the price point attached to that package, because I want to make sure that what we're going to give you is the right thing for you. If I just throw prices there for you, you're not really going to understand what's included and the value that's there for you. They're fantastic. No worries. We'll chat tomorrow, and bang. Anna called, they booked her in. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll get her signed up to one of the packages, right? But the point is, we just work it like that, okay? The last one, so the second last one is financial literacy. I put a post or story yesterday about my lack of financial literacy, right? And as a business owner, when we go from making a very small amount of money to making a lot of money, why all of a sudden our expenses just start shooting up? Like, why is it? And this is the thing with a lot of entrepreneurs. I was like this, but I never understood it, right? Our revenue is, say, for example, 10 grand a month, right? And our operational expenses, let's say that they're sitting at 50%, so they're 5 grand a month, right? We start making 50 grand a month, and all of a sudden our operational expenses start to go to 40 grand a month. And I think to myself, how did that happen? How did we lose control? It's because there's no financial literacy there, right? There's no understanding of X amount of percent goes to operational expenses only, which determines the amount, right? Not 40 grand out of the 50 grand that I've made goes to operational expenses because I bought a new car, I've got new clothes, I'm going on new holidays, expensive dinners, right? All these things that are coming through, I'm buying all this new equipment, taking out my gym with new equipment that I want but don't necessarily need. Right? Why is it that all this money gets thrown out when we start making more money? It's because there's a lack of financial literacy and self-control. Right? We start to feel this nice feeling of, hey, I'm making money, let's spend it, because I haven't had it for so long and I don't know how to control it. Right? Money's energy, and if you let that energy consume you, you're going to lose every single time. And for a period of time, I did lose. So when you have financial literacy, you understand how to be strategic with the money that comes in. Right, and then know where to invest, where you need to spend and pay for stuff and pay for your assets, not expenses, assets, right? What you pay yourself as a wage and how that all works together, right? And obviously the most important thing is putting away for tax. So you understand all these things, everything's set up really nicely. Then you put together this process of, okay, this is how we're working, irrespective of how much the business earns, this is what it's going to be looking like all the time. So everything's under control, okay? Now, when you don't actually understand what's going on with the business from a financial point of view, for example, it's very hard to lead. It's hard for me to lead not knowing what's coming in. That's why we do weekly checks on the metrics, Sometimes I do daily checks on the metrics, right? It's hard to lead when you don't know what's going on. So when you know what's going on from every aspect of the business, then leadership becomes better because decisions become easier because you can forecast. Okay? Know your numbers, know your revenue, your profit, your cost of acquisition, lifetime value of the client. A business that does not understand its finances is a business running blind. Yeah, we know this is basic knowledge, but how many businesses do that? I can tell you very simply and very quickly the cost per acquisition. So how much it costs me to gain a client, I can tell you, right? If I'm running a Facebook ad, I can tell you. If I'm not running a Facebook ad, I can still tell you. I can tell you the lifetime value of every single customer that signs up with us, right? I can tell you our profit margins, I can tell you our revenue with one simple search, right? We're not at the profit margins I want to be at yet, but we will get there, okay? And the reason why I need to know this is because I don't want to run blind. Running blind is the best way to go down and fail and close up, and that's it, done, you finished. And the last point, guys, is leadership and people development. Your ability, and this is personally speaking, the ability that I have and that I've really tried to get better at with attracting and developing and retaining great people, it's the best asset to any business. And I have great people that work with me, right? It's the best way for me to multiply. And I can never, ever, ever outgrow the quality, okay, of my team. The quality of my team is one of the best assets of my business because it excels me. So it extends me, right? If I can't always be there on the gym floor, I know the quality that I have in my team will do the job 99% as good as me, which means what? I can spend time growing my business. I can spend time having some downtime. I can spend time with my family, right? I can get the rest of rejuvenation I need to be the best leader for you guys all the time and for the rest of the community. If I didn't have a good team in terms of quality, what would I have to spend time doing? Everything. What would slow down the business growth? Everything I'm not doing because of everything that I am doing. You guys with me? Yeah, so just as a side note, I appreciate the quality that you guys are on a daily basis with me, so thank you. Now, one of the things that I love to do is give you guys a bit of wisdom from people before us who built amazing things, okay? So Jim Rohn, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. The skill that pays all bills is the one you are willing to develop when no one was watching. This is why I absolutely love consistently upskilling. Like I love it, right? My biggest gripe is when somebody goes to uni and then stops learning after uni, right? My biggest gripe is when somebody does a certain degree and then stops because they think that they've done enough, right? As soon as you stop learning, you go backwards. You're not stagnant, you're backwards, okay? So, and again, a formal education will make you a living, so you can do your formal education, make a living, but what's gonna really make you a fortune, if that's what you want, is self-education. Yeah, self-education has built my business and done amazing things with my business, way more than my formal education ever did. And way more than it ever will, okay? The next one here is from Benjamin Franklin. You know who that is? Yeah, founding father of America. He's actually an author, an inventor, and an entrepreneur. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Empty your purse into your mind, and your mind will fill your purse. And that's the quote I was talking about earlier that I'm going to show you that I love. Empty your mind, okay? Empty your purse into your mind, and your mind will fill your purse. In other words, spend money and time on upskilling yourself, because that upskilling that you learn will give you more money back in return. It's what we call as a really good return on investment. So 21 hours a week of study that I do, yeah? Imagine how much I'm gunning for that return on investment, right? Because 21 hours a week of study will allow me to charge this amount per 2-hour presentation, right? And if I do 10 of these per year, it makes me this amount per year from how many hours of work? $20 hours of work in here to make me 100 grand. Does that sound like a good trade-off? Yeah? And then you know what happens when I get even bigger? This number goes even higher. This number goes to this. And then we just keep multiplying. And then we just keep multiplying. Do you want to know why though? Because if I'm going to spend the next 20, 30, 40 years of my life spending 21 hours a week of upskilling, I've earned the right to do this. And I don't really care if people think it's fair or not. Those people that don't think it's fair that I charge 10 grand for a 2-hour presentation, they're the ones still working hour by hour and going, why can't they pay off their mortgage? Right? If you are upset about the fact that you don't think that somebody should be spending or charging or being paid what they're being paid, spend less time caring about what's fair and more time caring about upskilling yourself so you can be at the level that you want to be at. Because the only reason why you think it's not fair that that person's earning more money than you is because you know you should be there, but you lacked the focus and the discipline to actually build your skill set. And that's everybody that I know that thinks aren't fair for them. Okay, I don't believe in fair. I believe in what you've worked for. Okay, there's people that will go from absolute poverty, like some of the big superstars that we know and that we watch and that we see. How come they've gone from absolute poverty and built themselves into multi-billionaires or multi-millionaires? How come? Do you think they focus on what was fair? Or do you think they just focus on building their skill set up so well that they'll do a concert or they'll do a stand-up comedy show, for example, or they'll run a workshop or a seminar or an event and fill out auditoriums, fill out stadiums? Yeah? How come they can do that? Do you think they focus on what was fair? Do you think they looked at the shit hand of cards that were dealt with their life? Or do you think they focus on just building their skill set and pouring their entire person to their mind and knowing that their mind will refill their entire purse again? What do you think? Yeah? I know what you're going to say, and it's the truth. If you focus on what you think is fair and unfair, that's a waste of your time, man. All right? Because I don't really care if somebody doesn't think it's fair that I can charge this amount and get paid for it. I don't really care. All right? I've worked for it, so I'm going to do what I want to do. All right? I'm going to provide I'm going to be providing people in that room with 10 times more knowledge so they can earn 10 times more than that. So what I've been paid is 10 grand. If I'm going to give them knowledge and expertise and skills that they can be able to now go and earn 10 times what I've been paid, job done for me. Make sense? You guys with me?
Yep.
Any questions so far? Good. All right, last one. Now, as you guys know, I want to give you guys actionable things to do. Things that you can just go away after this talk and just go and do. And there they are. Okay, well, number one, identify your skill gap. So I've spoken about skills and how important they are. But what I want to also get you guys to understand is how you can be able to implement what I'm teaching today with the skill set pillar into your own lives. So you need to spend a bit of time doing a bit of homework. Identify your skill gap. Write down the one skill that if you developed it over the next 12 months, so not 12 hours, not 2 days, not 12 weeks, good 12 months. If you developed it over the next 12 months, will have the biggest impact on your life or your business. Okay, and then commit to one book, one course, or one mentor in that area. And start that this week. Or at the very latest, start it next week. Because if you don't, you're going to leave it, you're not going to do anything, and then this whole talk's going to be for nothing. Which is a waste of your time and a waste of mine too. Because I'm doing these things not just to film myself. I'm doing these things because I want you to take these things and action them. Because the better you can make your own life through the skills that you learn, the happier it's going to make me and the happier it's going to make you. Number two, teach yourself to deepen. Okay, and what that means is the fastest way to master skills is to teach. Why do you think I love teaching? Because I learn so much when I teach. Because it's how I sharpen and master the skill set of being able to do the things that I want to get good at doing. Host a workshop. What am I doing tonight? Yeah. Write a post. What do I do 2 times a day minimum over 7 days? Record a short video explaining a core concept in your field, because teaching forces you to be clear and forces that clarity in your mind. So when I teach, I'm refining. Every time I teach again, every time I do another workshop, every time I do another video, every time I do another post, every time I write another blog, I'm refining what I'm doing. And I'm getting better at being more direct with my messaging, clearer with what I'm saying, more professional with how I sound, engaging with the audience better, the whole deal. It's because I'm building clarity on what I'm trying to get from whatever it is that I'm doing. Okay? And those of you that are coming tonight to my talk, you'll see the difference between the last talk and this talk. Because I've done 3 talks in between these last 2 ones. It's other people. So there's a lot more clarity built now. There's a lot more refinement. Things are a lot clearer. Things are a lot better. Right? And you'll see the difference in how I present. Okay? Number 3, 30-minute daily investment. So you can start with 30-minute blocks. I started with 30-minute blocks. right? I did 1 or 2 in a day, right? So I started off with 1 hour doing 2 30-minute blocks of just some kind of investment, whether it was reading a book, whether it was doing some kind of deliberate skill development, whatever it might be. Something that I felt was non-negotiable for me. And I could realistically do it by spending 30 minutes. Because before I was able to redo my week and my day, all I had was an hour. So I broke it up into 2 30-minute blocks and I got it done. Now I can spend 3 hours because I've redone my day. Right? I got 3 hours a day to be able to do it, but I break that up into 3 1-hour blocks. Okay, so I put a timer on for 1 hour, no distractions, go hard. And that's it. And I go and I go and I go and I go and I go. Timer goes off, I get up, I eat, I go for a walk. I might train a client, I might train myself, I might do something, right? But the point is, I do that hard 1 hour, 3 times a day, Monday to Sunday, 7 days a week, and it pays off like no tomorrow. And it's paying off for me like no tomorrow, okay? So I recommend start with 30 minutes. You can do it at any part of the day that you like. I write here in the morning because most people can do it before work, right? Or if you can't do it before work, you want to do it during your lunch break, or you want to do it after work. As long as you're doing it, 30 minutes a day, or 30 minutes over 5 days as a minimum.
2.5 hours?
It's 2.5 hours. If I told you that, actually, I'm going to ask you a question, okay? So just between you and I, how much would you like to be able to earn if you were to build like a side business for yourself per month? What would you like to see coming in every month, per month? Give me a figure.
$5,000.
So $5,000 a month, every month, ongoing, right? And how long would you like to see? How long would you like to spend building it up to get to that point? 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months.
I feel like a year would be safe.
So 12 months. And how many hours a week would you feel like is a good return on investment or good use of your time, right? To be able to get you to that point in the next 12 months to earn $5,000 a month.
I think if I did 2 hours a day, if not more.
No. How many hours are you comfortable spending?
Well, that's the thing, I've never been able to apply that. So
Throw a number out. It could be half an hour a day. It could be half an hour a week. It could be an hour a week. Throw a number out there.
I would like to, but I don't think I could.
How many hours are you comfortable?
Maybe an hour.
Okay, so an hour a week over 12 months to build a business that brings you $5,000 worth of revenue a month.
Yeah.
If I showed you how that would be able to work for you, would you consider actually doing it?
Yeah.
Fantastic, cool. So see what I'm trying to get at? Okay, all I did was ask you a few questions, right? Get it to understand that you can build a business that brings you $5,000 revenue a month consistently with 1 hour of work on it per week over 12 months. You can actually do that. So what makes you think that you guys can't spend 1 hour a week on building something for yourself that can get you a minimum of $5,000 a month or even more? What makes you think you can't? You can't. You tell yourself you can't, right? And the reason why you feel like you haven't done it is because you feel like you got to learn all these skills at once. You don't. You got to find the biggest one that you need to learn, the one that's most important to learn right now, so it can get you to the next step that you need to get to, or the next level that you need to get to. Develop that skill first. That's it. So what do you think I did when I looked at doing this 4 steps? Right? I looked at the thing that was lagging on me the most. Was it my PT ability? Was it my ability to teach nutrition to clients? Was it my ability to be able to get somebody to develop a result in terms of fat loss, build muscle? No. Was it my ability to get them to understand what supplements I need to have? It was my ability to sell. It was my ability to get people to actually sign up once they came through the door. So what did I spend all my time getting better at? Sales. Yeah? In particular, sales and persuasion. So everything around that, the vision, the team, everything around that, communication and storytelling, I got better at that, right? Confidence and belief in what I'm actually talking about, I got better at that, yeah? So this is where I learned the skills. Now people come in, they're paying minimum $120 a week, up to $300 a week, and I'm not batting an eye as I'm talking about it. I'm not getting nervous thinking that that's a lot of money for them to spend. I don't know if they're going to do that. I know that that's our value. And we're worth that. If they choose that package, we're worth that monetary spend, right? Because of the value that follows. Make sense? Then I stress more about following through with the actual value that we provide versus how much they're going to spend. That's the next thing that we need to develop and get really systemized and perfect is the experience, right? We're 98% there. A couple of things to tweak and we're good to go. But the point of what I'm trying to get at is I did the exact same thing. The exact same thing. Pull myself out of a rut with it. When I looked at bankruptcy, developing these skills, I was able to get myself through headache and heartache financially, developing these skills. Yeah, was able to teach my brother how to be better at sales, developing these skills. Well, I'm able to build a second business, and I was building a third business with these skills. Yeah, you can do a lot of things when you just spend a bit of time understanding how much time you actually have and then using that time accordingly. So if Julie's only got an hour a week, I can get Julie, if Julie invests an hour a week and goes hard at the hour per week to develop the skills, teach to deepen, spends an hour a day on it or an hour a week on it, and then maybe get a mentor just to accelerate her, she could earn more than $5,000 a month in 12 months, way more. Right? But it all depends on how hard you want to go and how much you're willing to actually invest in that skill set that you need. And don't forget, team, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Empty your purse into your mind and your mind will fill your purse. The more you empty your mind into your purse, empty your purse into your mind, the more of that you do, the faster and the more it's going to fill your purse. Right? So you can do a little bit, you get a little bit back. You can do a lot, you can get a lot back. You can do a shitload and get a shitload back. What do you think I chose? As much as I could, so I can get that and some back. Yeah, because I didn't want to sit there and just do a little bit by little bit, because I'm not in the game of doing little bit by little bit. When I'm all in, I'm all in. And when it comes to your faith and when it comes to developing yourself, you need to be all in or you're not going to get anything in return. Alrighty. The last one is get a mentor, which is my personal piece of advice as well. I believe in mentors. In any area that you're lagging in, I believe getting a mentor can really help you. Just like when you guys get a PT. Just like when you guys get a nutrition coach. Just like when you guys have somebody to help you get from your struggle point to where you want to get at, right? Same thing, okay? My struggle point was getting, my business set up in a way where I could have the life that I want to live as well as to have my business. I found a coach who was there and done it before and doing it for others, and I invested in them. And it's been able to shift my life more towards the way that I want it. Now I've got a second mentor for something totally different that I'm trying to do, right? And it's working because the investment in time, the skill set I'm building and the application of that on a daily basis is what's allowing me to get from where I'm at to where I want to be. And for all of you, if you're not where you want to be, think about developing skills. Okay, I want all of you to take a photo of the screen and I want to see something next week that shows me that you're implementing something along the lines here. Alrighty, and that's a wrap. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you on YouTube. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.